Tell me, do you trust your government? Do you think that the ruling elite, the people you elected to govern, have your genuine well-being as their primary objective? That their main goal is to help and protect you and the people you care about? That you will be their priority at all times? That they are honest with you? If a divine power were discovered on Earth, a truth capable of destroying all the foundations of human belief, if an imminent danger were to arise, would they protect you or their children? Films and series recap. Hello and welcome. Today, we are going to watch a 1998 film called X-Files: Fight the Future. The truth is out there, but it won't be revealed to you. The film begins 30,000 years ago in what is now Texas. Two prehistoric men flee a blizzard and find refuge in a remote cave. As they venture inside, they realize that this is no ordinary structure. Something has passed through the ice and rock. Something huge. As they go deeper, a strange blue light on the ramparts attracts them. Inside the walls, they discover a man frozen in the ice. Suddenly, a strange humanoid creature attacks them. Extremely aggressive, it kills one of them. The survivor, seeking revenge, tracks down the wounded creature. In front of him is a beast unknown on Earth. It attacks him again, and after a struggle, he finally slays it. But instead of blood, a black substance flows from the creature. As if conscious, the liquid rushes toward the Cro-Magnon man, engulfing him completely. He is paralyzed by its touch, and in his eyes, the whites turn black. A final scream is heard. We are now 35,000 years later, in the present day, in the very same place. A kid named Stevie just fell into a hole. He just fell in the alien cave. Inside, he finds a skull. Delighted, he shows his discovery to his friends above him. As he glots, his foot steps on a strange black substance. He then finds himself unable to move his leg, and the unknown liquid climbs on him under the horrified gaze of his friends. His eyes are filled with black liquid. They run away to call for help. Later, rescuers arrive to extract the boy, but all the firefighters who enter the cave suddenly cease to show any signs of life. Then teams from the government arrive. It's the FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Scientists in hazmat suits come already equipped with isolation coffins. They are led by Dr. Bronswig, who, without answering questions from locals, puts the area under quarantine. Seconds after their arrival, dozens of tankers arrive and barricades are set up. Local authorities do not understand the situation. 4 firefighters have already disappeared. A first body is brought out under extreme quarantine. It is the child. Bronswig, after seeing its eyes, discreetly makes a phone call out of sight. He alerts them. They need a scapegoat. A secret cabal within the government knows what is happening. We now find ourselves a week later at the FBI office in Texas. A bomb threat has been reported in the building. A counterterrorism team, led by Special Agent Michaud, is in charge of operations. He is told that no bomb has been found. Nevertheless, he sends the team back to search again. After spreading out the teams, he stares at the building next to theirs. Among the agents present are Mulder and Scully, who are usually assigned to unclassified cases. The X-Files, recently closed. They participate in the search for the bomb and the evacuation of the building opposite the FBI offices. Mulder thinks it's a hoax and sees no point in searching the surrounding buildings. He decides to take a break and walks past a vending machine repairman. As he buys a snack, Mulder notices a machine that is unplugged but still turned on. Inside is the bomb. There are 13 minutes left before the explosion. A bomb squad arrives, led by Michaud. He orders his teams to leave. He will attempt to defuse it without anyone's help. Mulder refuses to leave him alone. Michaud orders him to go, assuring him that he knows this type of bomb and can defuse it. But as the streets empty in a wave of panic, Michaud, against all odds, sits motionless in front of the bomb. He just watches it and waits, with only few seconds to go. He covers his face. The explosion is huge. Mulder, consumed by guilt, blames himself for the tragedy. Weeks after, we find our agents in Washington, at FBI headquarters. They take turns answering questions about the fiasco of the attack. The toll is all the more tragic as 5 people were killed. Michaud, 3 firefighters, and a child. Stevie. This assessment baffles Mulder and Scully, knowing that the premises had been cleared. Outside the hearing room, Mulder is joined by Assistant Director Skinner. His superior briefs him on the situation. The commission believes that this tragedy could have been avoided. By all accounts, they need someone to take responsibility, but Scully and Mulder defend each other. The commission's decision has not yet been made, but they both risk being reassigned separately. Mulder is joined by Scully at the end of the hearings. For him, all this is a vendetta by the higher-ups against him. But for Scully, it goes further than that. She no longer believes in the Bureau and has decided to resign if a sanction is imposed, ending their more than 4-year partnership with the woman who has been more than just a colleague. To calm himself down, he ends his evening in a bar, getting drunk. Mulder is certain that extraterrestrial life exists on Earth, but is being hidden by the government. His conviction has cost him a great career, but his real motive for action remains the chance, however slim, of finding his sister, whom he saw being abducted. As he goes out to let the dragon cry, he is approached by a man who smiles at him. Mulder doesn't know him, but he knows Mulder. This is Dr. Alvin Kurzweil, a gynecologist. He knew Mulder's father during the war and has been looking to meet him. He claims to have information that could be of interest to him, information about the bomb in Dallas. According to him, Agent Michaud never attempted to defuse the bomb. He let it explode on purpose. The target was not the FBI federal office, but the building opposite. That building housed the quarantine service of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the FEMA offices. Kurzweil reveals that the victims were in fact already dead and had been long before the explosion. Michaud let himself die to conceal a truth that the government had not anticipated and absolutely had to hide. At first, Mulder doesn't believe him and leaves. However, too many elements don't add up in this case. He decides to investigate and goes to find Scully. Meanwhile, at the site where the cave was discovered, black helicopters appear. The site now resembles a cutting-edge scientific research center. Stepping out of one of the helicopters is the cigarette-smoking man, a character with a mysterious past, feared even by government leaders. He is there to protect secrets. In the cave, Bronswig shows him the results of their discoveries. The temperature has been lowered below 0 to stop a mutation. Before them lies the body of the 4th firefighter. He was infected by the black oil. Even though the monitors show he's perfectly healthy, a creature is gestating inside him. It's developing by consuming his life force and flesh. The cigarette-smoking man seems to recognize the case. He orders them to continue their experiments. He wants a vaccine. Meanwhile, Mulder and Scully go to the Washington morgue, where the bodies have been sent, to verify Kurzweil's words. Strangely, the bodies are under heavy military protection. Mulder lies to the guard on duty and manages to get inside. Scully doesn't understand why they are there, but Mulder needs her expertise for an autopsy. Indeed, in addition to being an FBI agent, she is a medical doctor. Initially skeptical, and having read the reports confirming death by explosion, she discovers that the bodies do not correspond in any way to this official version. Kurzweil was right. What killed the civilian victims was not the bomb. Scully agrees to perform an autopsy, while Mulder leaves to find out more about Dr. Kurzweil. When he arrives at his apartment, he finds it swarming with police officers. They accuse him of possessing compromising images of children on his computer. Kurzweil is now actively wanted. Mulder knows that someone is trying to silence him. With this accusation, Kurzweil loses all his allies and credibility. As he leaves, a hidden man lures him into an alleyway. It is Kurzweil. He reveals to him that there is a virus that the government is working on, a project that he discovered with Mulder's father. More than 50 years of research for a project called Armageddon. According to him, those in high places have decided to surrender Earth to the aliens. After releasing the virus, for which there is no cure, FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, whose offices were destroyed in Dallas, would legally obtain full powers to take control of all governments. In one summer, they would have the world in the palm of their hands. Mulder, even though he is prone to paranoia, finds it hard to believe, especially without proof. But Kurzweil reminds him before disappearing that, so far, he is the only one who has told him the truth. Mulder calls Scully and asks her what she has discovered. No one died from the bomb. The deaths were caused by an unknown infection with rapid effects, supporting Kurzweil's claims. Mulder then asks her to accompany him to Dallas. She hesitates. She still has a hearing in Washington the next day, but he insists. The attack was a cover-up for something else. They need to take a closer look at these offices. At the Dallas FBI offices, most of the debris collected by FEMA has already been sent to Washington. All that remains are some recently discovered fossils. Mulder is joined by Scully, who admits that she came because she was frightened by what killed these men. He asks her to compare her findings on the bodies with the fossils at the FEMA office. They were affected by the same pathogen. They must go to the site of the discovery. Meanwhile, in the prehistoric cave, Bronswig is preparing to test their vaccine on the firefighter's body. But to his horror, the body has opened up from the inside. The gestation period is over. The alien being has emerged from its host. Driven by curiosity, he forgets all precautions at the chance to observe the first extraterrestrial being. Unfortunately for him, the creature is extremely aggressive and attacks him. Nevertheless, he manages to take a sample for research and tries to escape. But as he reaches the cave exit, his colleagues seal the entrance in front of him and bury him alive with the creature. A strident scream rings out. Then silence. On the other side of the world, a powerful man receives a phone call. The members of the secret global council must meet. Petrified, he takes one last look at his grandchildren before leaving. In London, all the members of this cabal, who secretly control the world, are gathered together. The Syndicate. 50 years ago, they learned of the existence of an alien race that, far from coming in peace, was preparing to wipe out humanity using the black oil. Their technological advancement being light years ahead of Earth's, humans stood no chance. To save their own lives and those of their bloodlines, they agreed to assist them, maintain secrecy, and exterminate humanity. Today, their leader, Strughold, has gathered them together to share a disturbing discovery. The black oil, which is supposed to turn them into slaves, does not. It creates aliens. They begin to wonder, have they always been deceived? Do the aliens have plans for recolonization? The Syndicate members are not entirely despicable. For 50 years, they have been working to create an effective vaccine against the black oil and its viruses. Despite the new discovery, they decide to not go against their masters. But now another factor compromises their plan. Mulder, who saw the gestating body, and his informant, Kurzweil. They give the order to eliminate them both. However, killing an FBI agent would attract too much attention. Instead, they must take away what gives him the will to live. On the other side of the world, Mulder and Scully arrive at the sample collection site in Dallas. There is nothing. No trucks, no cave. Absolute calm. In the area previously teeming with scientists and government officials, in place of the cave entrance, there is now a brand new children's playground, a huge contrast with the surroundings, evidence of a crude attempt to cover their tracks. They then notice a group of children and question them. They are Stevie's friends. They have been forbidden to talk, and all their bikes are new. They finally admit that all the trucks and other vehicles left less than an hour ago, hidden in white tanker trucks. They follow the route indicated by the children. They drive all day, but end up in front of a blocked road. Scully finally despairs. She has an audition the next day, and once again, despite her better judgment, she has followed another Mulder's crazy ideas. It gets worse after he confesses to her that he is convinced that the tanks are harboring an alien virus. But just as she is about to leave, a train passes by. On it, white tanks. They follow them and discover what appears to be a secret base in the middle of the desert. They cross cornfields, strangely present and flourishing in the arid environment. They enter the gigantic facilities. Inside, the climate is cold. Below them, there is a buzzing sound. The vents then open, releasing hordes of flying insects, looking like bees or wasps. They pass through the antechamber, which automatically releases a decontamination gas, stopping the insects. They manage to get out without being stung, but then they are pursued by helicopters. Those responsible for all this have unlimited resources and power. They blend into the vast cornfields and manage to escape. When they emerge from the fields, the helicopters are just gone. The next day in Washington, Scully arrives late for the FBI committee hearing about the bomb. She presents them with new evidence pointing to a possible conspiracy behind the explosion. She mentions the fossils and Michaud's possible involvement, but is unable to present any concrete evidence at this time. Unbeknownst to her, one of the genetically modified bees is on her clothes. Meanwhile, Mulder finds Kurzweil. He tells him what he discovered, how the FEMA is preparing to spread the virus via bees and genetically modified pollen. Upon hearing this revelation, Kurzweil leaves. Mulder then doubts him when he realizes he has no answers. He accuses him of manipulating him and of never even knowing his father. Kurzweil leaves but warns him. He tells him that those helicopters didn't just disappear. Those men are still watching them and know exactly who they are. And now, they found him too. Mulder finds it hard to believe, but as he looks up, a man is watching them. Back home, to separate fact from fiction, Mulder searches through his family photos. In one of them with his late father, next to him is a man, young Kurzweil. He is then surprised by the arrival of Scully. Her hearing was not convincing, especially after she stated that she had investigated with spooky Mulder. They reassigned her to another office, which she did not want. She tells Mulder of her decision to resign. Mulder tries to dissuade her, but it's too late. The woman whose scientific reasoning and disbelief have imposed rigor on him has also often saved his life in adventures that remain inexplicable to this day. In what may be their first declaration of love, something stings Scully. A simple bee sting, but in an instant, she loses her motor functions and her body stops responding. But Scully has no allergies. He figures it out. It's one of the genetically modified bees. He calls 911, and they flee with Scully. But Mulder insists on knowing the name of the hospital. Driving the ambulance, he recognizes the man from the bar and the one who was ahead of him in the vending machine room before the bomb went off. At point-blank range, he shoots him and takes Scully away. In an airport terminal, a cargo plane transports Scully's body, supervised by the cigarette-smoking men. When Mulder wakes up, he is in the hospital. In front of him are the lone gunmen. Byers, Frohick, and Langley, friends who are independent investigators and allies to Mulder's cause. They are then joined by Skinner. Despite being second in command at the FBI, he is on their side. He knows about her kidnapping. Mulder wants to go looking for her, but if they are really watching him, he won't make it out alive next time. They undress Byers and devise a stratagem to escape. Mulder calls Kurzweil and arranges to meet him. When the doctor arrives, he is surprised by one of the syndicate members. In his eyes, He knows he is going to disappear forever. He pays the highest price for the truth. The syndicate closes all leaks. When Mulder arrives at the meeting point, there is no sign of Kurzweil. Outside, he runs into the syndicate member, who calls him by name. He orders him to get in the car with him if he ever wants to see Scully again. In the diplomatic car, the man gives him the vaccine that should save her. Along, he gives him coordinates. He confesses that all his beliefs are true. This virus was the first inhabitant of Earth, long before the dinosaurs. It was brought here by an alien race. They came millions of years ago. Some left, but others remained, hidden, dormant underground in the form of viruses and pathogens. But they will return. This vaccine they crafted, although incomplete, is our best chance. The secret group thought that the virus would turn humans into slaves. But no, they will actually become hosts and be completely decimated. The syndicate could not reveal this to the world and collaborated in the invasion, helping to prepare for the spread of the virus, while secretly seeking a way to thwart the alien colonists. Their survival above all else. His father was part of it. He sacrificed his sister. The promised survival, if the virus failed, was cloning as a genetic hybrid. He reveals to him that his sister, whom he is searching for, is alive as an alien hybrid somewhere. His father was counting on Mulder to reveal the truth despite everything and stop it all. He rejected the selfishness of the other members. The man confesses that he is saying all this out of love for his children, and that after saying this, he will not live much longer either. He was ordered to kill Kurzweil and Mulder, but instead he kills his driver and tells him to get out of the vehicle. He must find and give the vaccine to Scully at the coordinates within 96 hours. Injecting the vaccine into an alien environment should also greatly disrupt the invasion plans. At gunpoint, he orders Mulder to leave before returning inside his car. It then explodes, concealing his betrayal and protecting his family. We find ourselves 48 hours later in Antarctica. In this empty tundra, Mulder follows the directions and coordinates left by the dead man. In a white desert, he then discovers a secret base. Without hesitation, he rushes towards the base. The ground then collapses beneath his feet. He lands in a tunnel. Exploring, he arrives at the research area. There, under the ice, he discovers bodies in hibernation, both human and inhuman. Unbeknownst to him, the cigarette-smoking man has just discovered Mulder's vehicle and is preparing his troops. Mulder finds himself in a huge structure, built with unknown technology and unquestionable superiority. An alien spaceship, millions of years old and still functioning. On one of the platforms is the pod containing Scully. Risking his life, and without fear, he rushes to join her. He climbs down the wall, which is as tall as a skyscraper, but ends up slipping on the surface. He manages to catch himself at the last moment, avoiding a fatal fall. The building appears to be empty. He reaches the pod, but it is also empty, although her chain is still there. He examines the suspended bodies, unclosed in cocoons, with tubes connecting them to the structures. Unknown people. And in the last one, Agent Scully. He breaks her glass coffin and frees her, but she remains unresponsive. He then uses the mysterious vaccine given to him by the syndicate member. He injects Scully, and the vaccine spreads throughout the structure. She wakes up, but something else wakes up too. The structure begins to vibrate, as if coming back to life. Outside, everyone flees the area, including the cigarette-smoking man, while Mulder tries to escape with Scully, who is still unable to walk. After climbing what looks like a mountain of mazes, they finally reach the trapdoor through which he entered. In front of him, an alien still imprisoned watches him. Scully does not move. He must resuscitate her. Her life hangs by a thread. He stops to give her CPR as the aliens around him wake up. She finally breathes. Around them, the aliens and the others emerge from their chambers. Their time is running out. chase through the tunnels. They finally find the entrance where Mulder arrived. Everything is shaking. Something is coming out. They finally make it outside. As soon as they are out, Mulder pulls Scully as far away from the epicenter as possible. Everything within a kilometer radius collapses, catching up with our heroes. They fall into an endless pit. No, not really. They're on top of something. The building rises out of the ground. Scully, practically unconscious, doesn't see it. But Mulder does. A real spaceship has just flown over them. He begs her to look, but she no longer has the strength, and the ship disappears forever. Mulder was right all along. He ends up passing out in the snow, in the arms of a Scully who regains consciousness. During a new hearing at the FBI offices, it is admitted that government agents were involved in the Dallas attack. But Scully's testimony about the virus, the conspiracy, the genetically modified bees, the fields, and the huge crater in Antarctica is ignored due to lack of evidence and deemed implausible and impossible. Meanwhile, all evidence related to the events in Dallas is destroyed. The cornfields, the fossils, and the cisterns. They cannot include her allegations in a report for the Court of Justice. However, Scully submits the only remaining piece of evidence, the bee that stung her. She states that the FBI is currently unable to investigate this level of evidence. She then leaves the room. She finds Mulder reading an article about a virus in Texas, which hides the real events. Mulder is furious. The case has been covered up once again, and now they're back to square one. This time, he's had enough. He wants Scully to go back to work in medicine rather than follow him in his delusions and obsessions. But Scully reveals that she is willing to continue working with him, so as not to let their enemies win. In Tatooine, Tunisia, the cigarette-smoking man finds Strughold, the leader of the syndicate. He reveals that Mulder remains a threat because he saw what they did with his own eyes. The smoking man also gives the syndicate leader a telegram revealing bad news. The X-Files office has been reopened. The film ends with a view of Strughold's field, a field of genetically modified corn with white warehouses in the center. The extinction continues. The end. I loved making this video. Let me know what you think, or recommend new movies to explore. I read all the comments. Subscribe, and see you soon on Films and Series Recap. Goodbye.